Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we are wading into, well, some pretty murky waters of community conflict. We're doing a deep dive into this saga of, frankly, a spectacularly entitled lake owner down in Florida. We've got sources detailing this whole year-long battle, you could call it.
Yeah, a battle against common sense, really.
Yeah.
And our mission today, it's not just about the drama, though. Let's be honest, there's plenty.
Oh, there is.
But we want to analyze what's really going on. You know, the psychology behind someone just repeatedly ignoring rules.
Right.
And maybe more importantly, how the community tried to handle it step by step and how that actually maybe fueled the fire,
Yeah.
leading to this wild ending.
Exactly. We want you to get those little aha moments about human behavior, maybe even how enforcement works or doesn't. So let's paint the picture.
Okay.
Think typical Florida gated community, nice grounds, private lake, and the key thing, a shared boat ramp and dock.
Shared being the operative word.
Totally. Meant for everyone in that specific community. Sources say other houses around the lake, they had their own separate access, so the system was clear, established.
It should have worked, right? Little microcosm of shared resources. You follow the rules, everyone gets along.
Yeah, that assumption, it got challenged. Hard.
Violently challenged, you might say. Which brings us to Act 1 of this drama.
The opening shot. Residents wake up one morning, head down to the lake, and the shared boat ramp is completely chained off.
And not just like a flimsy little chain. We're talking heavy duty, padlocked, anchored with posts they'd installed. This wasn't a keep out for an hour thing. This looked like someone trying to permanently claim community property.
The sheer audacity. You have to wonder, what's the thinking? Did they just decide, hey, I live near the lake, so this ramp, it's mine now?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Is it just complete ignorance? Or is it pure calculated entitlement?
Maybe a bit of both.
Often is in these situations. Maybe they think, I paid the most dues, or my house is closest, therefore. A leap of logic. It's mine. But putting up a physical locked barrier like that, that's a test.
A boundary test.
Definitely. Seeing what they can get away with.
And the HOA's response, swift, at least initially. They cut the lock, took down the chain. Problem solved, right?
Well, they solved the chain problem, but they didn't identify the person, didn't issue a fine, didn't address the behavior.
So they taught the person that, okay, maybe a big chain gets removed.
But the underlying defiance, no consequences, they basically just address the symptom.
That's the root cause.
Okay, exactly. So when that first big test, the chain failed for the owner, they didn't back down, they just shifted gears.
To something maybe less dramatic, but way more annoying.
Precisely. Which brings us to the next chapter, the battle for the grass.
Right. So this kicks off the following year. Maybe the same person, maybe not, but the pattern feels familiar.
It does. This homeowner starts bringing their boat to the dock, which is fine, but they drive their big truck down
Okay.
and parks it right on the grass,
Right.
next to the dock. Every single time.
Not in the parking lot?
Nope. Even though there was a dedicated paved parking lot like 50 feet away, easy walk.
So parking on the grass, what's the big deal?
Well, the big deal is a heavy truck parked repeatedly in the Florida heat just destroys the grass, turns it into a muddy, dead mess.
Right. Obvious consequence.
Totally obvious. And this wasn't laziness, you feel? It feels strategic, like low-grade warfare.
And the warnings started coming?
Oh, yeah. The sources detail this whole frustrating cycle. Polite requests first.
Ignored.
Ignored. Then written warnings.
No.
Talking about property damage, the cost to resaw the area.
Ignored.
Completely ignored. They just kept doing it.
This is where that incremental enforcement failure you mentioned comes in, right?
Textbook case.
Yeah.
The homeowner's learning, okay, the rule says no parking on grass, but what really happens if I do? I get a letter. Exactly.
Yeah.
Each ignored warning reinforces their belief that the rule doesn't actually apply to them. The HOA's process, the polite notes, the warnings, probably slow committee meetings, it just proved the system was, well, soft.
You wonder if getting the warnings almost became like a little victory for them each time.
It's possible. They won that round.
Yeah.
They parked where they wanted, and the consequence was just paperwork.
Yeah.
You have to ask why the HOA didn't just tow them right then.
Yeah. Why wait?
Bureaucracy, probably. HOAs have procedures, escalation steps. They want to avoid lawsuits. But that very caution is what this homeowner exploited. They knew the system, used the delay.
Okay, so the grass is dead, warnings are useless. What's the HOA's next move?
They finally get tactical. They realize talking isn't working. So they install signs. 2, no parking signs.
2.
Yeah, strategically placed, spaced just right so the truck literally could not fit between them to park on that patch of grass.
Physical barrier, engineering the solution.
Exactly. They made that specific violation physically impossible. A small win for the HOA.
But you just know that wasn't the end of it? Blocking one violation?
Just leads to another, often worse one. They didn't concede. Didn't start using the parking lot. Oh, no.
They doubled down. Which leads us to the final audacious blockade.
Maximum disruption time. The grass is off limits. Fine. They start parking on the actual pavement
Okay, where on the pavement?
at the very bottom of the boat ramp, blocking the entire thing.
Wait, completely blocking access to the lake?
Completely. Not just inconvenient, like fully obstructed. You couldn't get a boat trailer down there.
That's incredibly petty. You stopped my easy violation, so I'll commit the worst one possible.
Pretty much sums it up. Turning that vital community asset the only way to launch a boat into their personal spiteful parking spot.
And this time, it wasn't just about dead grass. This had immediate impact.
Huge impact. The sources say a resident needed to launch their boat that day. Comes down, finds the ramp totally blocked,
Oh boy.
calls a board member. Naturally, this is a crisis point.
And the board member finally had enough.
It seems so. This was the breaking point. With that whole history, the chain, the grass, all the ignored warnings, the board member didn't even bother with another warning.
Straight to the nuclear option.
Straight to calling a professional tow truck. They had the paper trail. They knew another warning was pointless. Time for action.
After months, maybe years of slow rolling it, they finally bring the hammer down.
And this is where the story becomes legendary. The instant karma moment.
Okay, set the scene. Tow truck arrives. Professionals doing their job.
Yep, standard procedure. They start hooking up the illegally parked truck right there at the bottom of the ramp. Board member probably watching, maybe the owner.
Tense, you can imagine.
And then physics takes over. Or maybe irony.
What happened?
At some point while hooking it up, maybe a brake wasn't set right. Maybe the incline was slicker than they thought. The truck starts rolling.
Oh no.
Backwards. Down the boat ramp.
Into the lake.
Slowly at first, apparently. Then faster.
Yeah.
An SB lash. Right into the water. Submerged up to the doors.
Wow. The truck used to block the ramp, ends up in the lake.
You literally couldn't make it up. It's the perfect, almost poetic consequence.
Unbelievable. So, okay, technically, whose fault is that? The tow company's?
Technically, probably. They were in control of the vehicle on an incline. There might have been liability there.
But for the community and for the owner.
The outcome is what matters. That owner having to make that phone call.
Hi, yeah, my truck, it's in the lake. Yes, the one I parked illegally blocking the ramp.
Exactly. The sources say insurance probably covered the truck damage eventually. But the embarrassment, the loss of face in that community, that's the real kicker.
It really forces you to think about your reaction, doesn't it? Do you feel any sympathy?
Given the history, the chain, the grass, the deliberate blocking.
Yeah.
It's hard, isn't it? Most people hearing that story probably feel a strong sense of, well, karma.
Just desserts. A consequence that finally matched the level of defiance.
It really did. After all the ignored warnings, this was undeniable.
Okay, so let's recap the pattern we've traced for you. Starts with a big test, the chain. That gets shut down.
Then it shifts to persistent, low-level annoyance, the grass parking, which the HOA fails to stop effectively with slow, incremental warnings.
Which emboldens the owner to escalate again when finally blocked, obstructing the entire ramp.
Culminating in that spectacular watery finale delivered unintentionally by the tow truck.
The big takeaway here seems to be about enforcement, doesn't it?
Absolutely. If your rules don't have teeth, or if those teeth are slow and uncertain, determined violators will just keep pushing. You need clear consequences, applied consistently and sometimes decisively.
Which brings us to our final thought for you, the listener. Think about this whole saga.
Yeah, put yourself on that HOA board. You know, the history, the chain incident, the endless notes about the grass, all ignored. Now the ramp is blocked.
Do you issue one last warning? Or do you go straight to the tow truck, knowing everything that came before?
When is negotiation over? When is it time for that sudden decisive consequence? Was the HOA right in that moment to finally skip the incremental step and just act?
Something to chew on. What does this tell us about dealing with that kind of determined entitlement?
Lots to think about there.
Indeed. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into community conflict rules and watery justice.